Daisy. When former US President Barack Obama made pointed remarks about recent leadership trends in Africa, many anticipated a few diplomatic rebuttals, but no one expected Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's transitional leader, to issue such a direct and powerful response. Obama's comments, delivered during a summit on governance in Dakar, implied that young African leaders were often drifting into authoritarianism under the guise of patriotism. The implications were clear, and while Obama didn't name anyone, the international media speculated heavily that he was referring to figures like Traoré. Within 48 hours, Traoré released a video that stunned the world. The video opens with Traoré standing in front of a Burkinabe flag, wearing military fatigues, but speaking in a calm and articulate tone. "I have great respect for President Obama," he begins, "but I must challenge his assumptions about our reality." He explains that his leadership is not about clinging to power or rejecting democracy, but about reclaiming sovereignty and dignity in a region too long destabilized by foreign interests and manipulation. He accuses Western powers of supporting regimes that serve their interests while ignoring the will of African people. "We are not puppets," he states firmly. Traoré then walks viewers through recent events in the Sahel region, the rise of terrorism, the failures of UN missions, and the consequences of neo-colonial economic policies. What did democracy bring us when it was forced from outside, without security, without food, without pride? He asks. The camera cuts to footage of villages rebuilding schools and women volunteering in local defense groups. Traoré insists that his approach isn't perfect, but it's homegrown and rooted in the will of the people. He challenges Obama to speak not just to institutions, but to the hearts of Africans. In the middle of the video, Traoré delivers the line that quickly made headlines around the world. "Mr. Obama, your words are smooth, but our wounds are deep." It's a direct response to Obama's call for wise restraint. Traoré counters by saying restraint hasn't brought peace. It has allowed corruption and exploitation to flourish. "Our people did not fight for independence to become subordinates again," he says, his tone rising. Clips of mass rallies in Ouagadougou supporting Traoré play, with signs reading "La patrie ou la mort" and "Le peuple soutient Traoré." The video also includes testimonials from farmers, soldiers, and students who praise Traoré's reforms and security initiatives. A young woman from northern Burkina Faso says, "We finally feel heard. For the first time, we see action." Traoré uses these voices to underscore his message, that leadership must be judged not by foreign media or former presidents, but by those who live under its consequences. He says Obama, though well-meaning, still speaks from a place of privilege and distance. "You governed a superpower," he says. "We govern survival." Observers around the world reacted immediately. On social media, hashtags like Traoré Speaks and Africa Stands trended for hours. African political commentators debated whether Traoré's message marked a new era of Pan-African defiance. Western analysts were more divided. Some called it populist posturing. Others hailed it as a long-overdue challenge to outdated international norms. Meanwhile, Traoré's supporters flooded the internet with memes, quotes, and summaries of the video, translated into multiple languages. For many, this wasn't just a speech, it was a moment of continental assertion. In Washington, Obama's camp released a short statement saying the former president welcomes dialogue, but stands by his belief in democratic institutions and constitutional governance. Privately, aides admitted they were surprised by the tone and reach of Traoré's message. In Burkina Faso, the video was broadcast repeatedly on state channels and even shown in rural areas where access to media is limited. Traoré, meanwhile, made no further comment, allowing the power of the video to stand on its own. Analysts called it one of the most media-savvy responses in African political history. Other African leaders began weighing in. Some distanced themselves, wary of being seen as anti-Western, but several voiced support. Mali and Niger, currently aligned with Traoré in a security pact, praised the speech as a voice of African dignity. Opposition figures within Burkina Faso criticized the video as a distraction from economic woes, but even some skeptics admitted Traoré's ability to articulate a widely shared frustration. He said what many think but fear to voice. One journalist remarked, "That makes him dangerous or inspiring, depending on where you sit." Weeks later, universities and policy forums were still dissecting the video's rhetoric and impact. Was Traoré defending national sovereignty, or was he consolidating power under the guise of nationalism? Was Obama right to warn against autocratic tendencies, or did he fail to understand the urgency of the Sahel's crises? These questions remained unresolved, but the video sparked a wave of new discussions about African self-determination, the limitations of foreign advice, and the right to define democracy on local terms. Traoré, once a quiet military officer, had become a global voice. By the end of the month, Traoré's approval ratings in Burkina Faso had surged. He remained focused on his reform agenda, but refused to walk back any of his words. "Africa is not a project," he says in the final seconds of the video. "We are a people, and we decide." The screen fades to black. For some, it was a masterstroke of image-making. For others, a wake-up call. Either way, Traoré's bold rebuttal to Barack Obama's criticism didn't just make headlines. It sparked a fire that, for better or worse, won't be put out easily.